Hi, I'm James, a mechanic, and finally, I've started working on my own project car.
Wow! Dude, is that a...
Yes, a mechanic actually working on his own car. I know, shocking. In the last videos, I tore down the suspension, cleaned it up, and rebuilt it on a budget. Damn. Progress was smooth. Oh no. Well, mostly smooth. And this is why you never use instructions. But this time, I took on the differential. And let's just say things didn't go as planned.
That's not a good sound.
That didn't sound good. Just when I thought I'd hit a dead end with this diff, a solution came out of nowhere. Something I never even considered.
All right, Phil, this has been really great. Yeah, no problem. Can't wait.
But more on that later in the video. Today we'll dive into the diff, uncover what went wrong, and take the next step in bringing this project car back to life. Ooh. But first... Okay, I've got a little bit of a confession to make. On the last video, I told you that this sway bar was wrong. We got the wrong sway bar. And that's because when we put it up to the mounting brackets, it was actually short by about this much. So we thought, we've got another Supra here that has the exact same sway bar on it. We had a look at this part number and realized it was different to the new one that we've got. So we thought, case closed. But what we should have done is check our own work. Let me explain, come with me. Now, although this is really embarrassing, I'd rather actually show you and be honest than try and hide it from you and just say, yeah, we got a different sway bar. These subframe bushes where the sway bar mounts to, you can see the mounting point is offset, which means the other one on the other side is also offset. So you can probably see where we're going with this. The left one's meant to go on the right one's meant to go on the left. In our defense, there was a couple of things going on that Friday. The first one was that being on camera is actually new to us and it's actually quite daunting and adds a lot of pressure, but it's no excuse. And the second more important one is all of us had a couple of drinks with our name written on it, and we probably rushed a bit and we didn't think it through, but you know what? Mistakes happen. Let's just fix them. First up, we're reinstalling the subframe bushes on the correct side, which on this side at least was pretty straightforward. Undo a few bolts and slide it off. As easy as that. Let's just put it on the right side this time, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe we did that. The other side though looked more challenging. We had to remove this plate, which looks to me like it protects the fuel tank from puncturing in the event of an accident. Then, like the other side, undo a few bolts and hopefully we don't have to drop the subframe out again to remove the bush. This looks like it'll fit out past there, but I can't be sure. Please come out. I knew Toyota wouldn't screw us like that. Now let's put them on.
The right side.
Actually, I could have just turned them around. There's no left and right. They could just be turned around.
Just spun.
Yeah.
So they weren't side to side, they were backwards.
Yeah, they were just backwards.
So we're not as bad as we thought.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, that's what we're telling ourselves, right?
Yeah, I'm sold. That's what I'm going with.
I'm sold on that too, Jim.
Like a glove.
Look at the sweat pouring off my face.
Yeah. I've got a bit going on here too behind the camera.
I can see it.
It's nerves, mate. Camera nerves. And I'm behind, I'm on the wrong end too. It is almost 40 degrees in here though. Like,
yeah.
Or 35 or something today,
35, 36 maybe. It's hot.
It's hot, yeah. Carpenters would have been sent home by lunchtime today.
And electricians.
Yeah, poor mechanics, mate.
I know. We never get sent home.
No.
Keep working. Whip. I could have done this by rattle gun. It would have been way quicker.
You look more professional by hand.
Yeah. Gives me an arm workout too. I need to catch up to Dave. He'll be so chuffed with that comment.
Pretty much like a rattle gun on that one.
Thanks, Jim. You know, like, I'm pretty unfit, but I reckon that it doesn't really matter how unfit I am. I'll still have the muscle memory to look like a pro with cars.
Yeah.
Not that that's like, you know, anything to go, woo!
I know. When you go out to dinner with a girl, that you should be able to bring a bolt and a nut. Just look how quick I can undo this.
She'll go,
oh my God.
Oh, I need you.
You're the mechanic of my dreams.
Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah, that's what always happens to me.
That's what happened with Rachel. If only it were that easy. Oh, I'm so sweaty. I'm putting my sweat on the fuel tank.
What is it? Spit polish? Sweat shine.
Sweat shine. New one. That's good.
Yeah.
Alright, so you can see how we've got the subframe bushes in now. You can see this bit where the sway bar joins to is offset this way now. So with that being like that and the other side doing the same thing, the sway bar should go on. Woohoo. Let's get these tightened up and let's get these sway bars on.
It's got your face just in the corner of the screen.
Now, the moment of truth. Will the sway bar fit?
Oh, yeah.
As easy as that. Done. Now we're ready for some links. I'm ready for both types of links. The one that goes under the armpits and the one that goes on the car.
I could use a squirt myself, I reckon. Fuck, it's just us here.
Done. That looks awesome. Now that the rear's completed, it's onto the front. Shiny.
That was a real snazzy angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Whew. Good angle, Jim.
Your long arms coming in handy.
We're trying new things. Whether they work yet, I'm not sure. Oh, it's the small things, Jim.
Yeah. Whoa.
What are you doing?
You'll see it you'll laugh. Like, fuck, Jim's funny.
Alright, I'll see it when I'm editing.
Yeah.
Do you see me laughing? Alright, a little. You dickhead. Let's get into it. With this white line sway bar kit, you'll see it came with 2 lots of D bushes, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know 100%, but I'm taking an educated guess that the bigger ones are going to be to fit onto the genuine turbo Supras, and the smaller incy bincy ones are going to be for our car, which is a genuine non-turbo. So I would say that potentially that gives the turbo model some handling advantages. I'm not sure how much, and I'm not sure if it's actually going to be noticeable, but yeah, anyway, we're going to go with the incy bincy ones. Let's put them on.
Did you put these ones on the right way?
Yeah, I put them on the right way, you smart ass. I was just going to pay you a compliment and say mechanic and cameraman extraordinaire both at the same time.
I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. I'd rather insult than get a compliment. Like your hair accessories.
Thanks, Jim. Not sure what happened to the audio here, but hey, I think I'm nailing it as a hand model. We slid them into place, added some nuts and washers, and tightened everything down. Voila! One shiny new front sway bar installed on our fully restored front end, all captured by Jimmy's experimental new filming style. Speaking of new filming methods. Angles, you reckon?
Yeah, that's how the skateboarders film shit.
Is it? We'll do it in a sec.
They roll each other on the boards.
Well, I'll roll you on that table.
I'll roll you, whatever.
On a side note, if you haven't worked it out already, we've been working hard to improve the quality of our videos, trying new techniques and pushing ourselves to make each one better than the last. Was this our best idea? Not even close. But hey, progress sometimes means you've got to mess up a bit to figure out what actually works. And I'm not going to rob you guys of a good laugh either. Alright, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
If I get this wrong and you hit something, it's not my fault.
My head's hanging off the end, please don't.
Alright. Ready?
Yeah.
All in the name of cinematic shots.
Yeah, just push me the whole way.
Alright, 3, 2, I'll get the wall.
You're gonna
I'll
have
get the wheels going straight.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hold me.
3, 2, I was just gonna push you and let you go. Wait, we'll go slower.
Yeah.
If anyone walked in right now, we'd have a lot of explaining to do. Do you reckon it looks cinematic?
Not quite what I thought in my head.
A few more back and forth pushes and it's clear. Our little stunt here isn't landing us a spot in Hollywood. Let's be honest, we're not even going to make it to the casting couch. The things you do for B-roll.
I know. I should have done it for pre-pop-up. I'm a bit too close.
Oh, yeah? With all this talk of Hollywood and creepers, I thought I should probably clear something up. This one, not this one. Okay, now the bit that I'm excited for is the diff. Now this diff, as you can see, it's actually the smaller diff out of the 2 that come in the Supra. This diff's an open diff, so it only spins with 1 wheel. Today we want to make it an LSD. I'm going to start by dropping this drain plug out so I can check the condition of the diff oil, because honestly, I have no idea what condition this diff's in. I hope it's okay.
Oh. That's not a good sound.
That didn't sound good. That was metal.
That was very steel.
This isn't looking good.
See,
Did you hear that?
I heard it.
Yeah, that's bad. We're off to a good start. But hey, silver linings, right? Oh no, it still works, you can hear it.
It's still good.
At least something's good on this diff. Now here's the deal. If these chunks come from the crown wheel or pinion, we've got a serious problem. I need to reuse both of these parts, and if they're damaged, this differential is as good as junk.
It's a piece of your hammer.
Yeah, how long I've had this hammer for? The little wedgie bit come out of the top.
I think that it's time to let that one go, man.
Never. There we go. Good for another 20 years.
I'll buy you a new hammer next year, all right?
Oh, thanks, Jim. It was a nice gesture from Jimmy, offering to replace my hammer. As we would say in Australia, he is a top bloke, but I couldn't shake the nerves. If this diff isn't usable, it's going to cost me more than just money. One more hit for good luck. It'll derail the entire video. And honestly, I don't have a plan B. But just when things were looking grim, we found something that gave us a glimmer of hope. So that is a spider gear, and that is missing a whole lot of metal off it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's rooted. That's going in the bin. Lucky for us, we've got a brand new centre, which will replace those spider gears. But before we can celebrate, we need to get to the pinion gear. Since it meshes with the crown wheel, any damage there could still mean this diff is scrap. The first step, removing these stub axles. I figured, like many cars, they'd be held in by a spring metal clamp, and a bit of leverage should pop them right out. It doesn't feel like it's working. But after trying more times than I'd like to show you on camera, and getting nowhere, it was on to plan B. If the axle spines are gummed up, they'll resist the whole way. So using a chisel between the housing and the stub should help us get it moving. Looks like it's coming out. We were making progress, but then we ran out of leverage. There's not much resistance, but it's coming out. It was time for plan C. Slide hammer, take 1. Gently insert the shaft. Woo!
Never ceases to amaze me.
Chick, chick, bang. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Every time.
With that, the other side come out with a few swift pulls. There we go. We remove the bearing carriers. Oh, I need to record too. This emphasises my gut. Ugh.
Fat bastard.
Get in my belly. As this diff has probably never been apart, the bearing carriers were in there good. So I gently pried side by side until I was finally able to pull the bearing carrier out by hand.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! This is the moment of truth. If this pinion gear is damaged, it's game over for this diff. And let me tell you, it's not just the heat in here making me sweat. I'm literally sweating bullets. I had no idea this diff was in such terrible condition. Plan A was everything, my only plan. So what's the verdict? Jimmy, I think we're good. Woo. Yes, bring it in. Woo! Yes. And just like that, a massive weight is lifted. The pinion gear was safe, and this diff still had a fighting chance. But there's no time to celebrate for long. Now it's time to strip it down, clean it up, and get it ready for the next step. Fix me hammer again.
Look at this hobo. Let the hammer go, mate.
No. I'm gonna get buried with this hammer. It's not even worth anything.
How many Supras this bloke's got? He's using hammers that fall apart.
It's got sentimental value, Jim. It's pretty hammered.
Hey.
This step to remove the shims and bearing races is pretty straightforward. The shims sit behind the bearing race, which is something you'll often see in differentials. To get them out, we need to use a punch. Ideally a long one, as the side you need to tap the race from is deep inside the casing. It's almost impossible to do this without causing slight damage to the shims, but that's not a big deal. Since we're installing a completely different centre, the diff will need to be re-shimmed anyway, which is always good practice for proper gear alignment and smooth operation. Not done properly though, and this could be you. I'll walk you through the process soon. Getting these races out takes accuracy to keep the punch on the edge, patience to move it side to side evenly, and persistence, especially when it feels like nothing is budging. Sometimes though, it's all about sticking with it. Not today, Junior. And there you have it. Thankfully, the shims that sit behind the bearing race on these bolt-on carriers can be easily removed by using a press. With a wide cone at the bottom supporting the plate and a smaller cone at the top to press them out, it's a straightforward process. A few pumps of the foot lever and both the bearing race and the shim are free. Next, I needed to remove the crown wheel gear. Using a rattle gun and a double hex socket, I got started on the bolts. And yep, that's some seriously old Loctite. With all the bolts out, it was time to grab the perfect tool for the job. In my case, it's a punch that I fashioned out of an old full tang screwdriver. And yes, I know I have a problem letting go of old stuff.
Don't tell Jimmy.
Since the crown wheel is such a tight fit on the centre, it takes a bit of work with the punch. The best way to work it is in a star pattern or side to side to ease it off evenly.
One crown wheel.
Next up is inspecting the pinion gear and its bearing. What you are seeing here is pretty typical wear for a differential of this age. The bearing surface has some light discoloration and polishing, but nothing that stands out as excessive or concerning.
So what we're going to do is cut this bearing cage off and check out the race underneath.
This might look a little over the top, but thoroughly assessing components during any repair is crucial in my opinion. A part's condition tells the story and can save you from having to redo a job later if you miss something. The surface, like the roller bearings, was showing some polishing. This isn't a sign of hardness coating being worn, as some might assume. It's just a result of normal rolling contact over time. Most importantly, there's no pitting or scoring. If there were, it could easily translate into differential noise down the road. But for now, everything checks out. I got on to inspecting the carrier bearings, and like the Pinion, it showed normal wear. So I wiped my hands to stop the camera on the stand, only to realise I'd forgotten to press record. Let's just say my reaction wasn't exactly professional.
Oh, you mother...
I was so disappointed in myself and flustered from the heat that I completely forgot to stop recording on my body cam. So because it happened to be our afternoon break, I grabbed the rear plate of the diff and headed next door to clean it up on the wire wheel.
Oh, he's selling it already.
When I got next door, I seen Dave still working, so I told him to take his afternoon break.
Hey Dave, afternoon smoko.
And of course, he was busy trying to get something done. Man, that guy works hard.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I got started on the diff plate. I wasn't going to include this part, but honestly, I'm laughing at myself now. And hey, if you didn't know the wire wheel was a good way to remove old silicone, now you do. After finishing with the wire wheel, I walked back next door to keep things moving. I cleaned the bulk of the oil off the housing plate, unscrewed the breather, and popped out the pinion seal.
Oops.
And on that note, I'm done for the day. Sometimes you just have to know when to call it.
Why didn't I see that coming?
After a rough night with a newborn and a 2.5-year-old, I was running on caffeine and determination. Removing the bearing race from the pinion was the next task. I started by setting up the bearing removal tool on the press when I overheard Jimmy talking about the tooth he had removed, which was still causing him grief.
Hey, is that in your tooth?
Yeah.
What did I tell ya?
Yeah.
What did I...
Like a whole hunk of tooth.
You know what, Jim? You know what this means?
No more dentist, I fix it myself. I just got a little bit of tweezers, pulled it out, and as it come out, I was just getting happier and happier as it come out.
With Jimmy assessing his newfound career prospects, I finished setting up and started pressing the bearing race. but it would not budge.
I got a plan.
A few moments later.
Applying heat to the bearing race will help it expand slightly, loosening its grip on the pinion shaft and making it easier to press out.
I know this doesn't look like the way to do it, but I'm improvising.
After heating it up somewhat evenly, I applied some more pressure and...
There we go.
the unmistakable crack of success.
Moving now.
With the race moving, a few more presses freed it completely. I caught the pinion in a rag and honestly looked way too pleased with myself for such a small victory.
That's how it's done.
Ultimately,
It's off.
I think it's just genuine excitement felt from seeing my Supra getting closer to the road. Speaking about getting things moving, I'd been messaging a guy on Facebook Marketplace about a sandblasting cabinet the night before. Not long after finishing up on the press, I got a reply saying that there was a lot of interest in the cabinet and that I'd need to be at his factory before 12 if I wanted it. For just over $300, I wasn't going to miss out. And honestly, I love picking up brand new secondhand tools. Okay, here maybe? Alright, let's go. I came for the sandblasting cabinet, but somehow walked out with a bandsaw as well. That guy was a smooth talker. Yeah. Or at least that's the story I'm sticking with when my wife inquires.
I swear it was a good deal.
After convincing my wife, it was time to get the new additions back to the workshop. With Jimmy's help, we unloaded the new tools, from the trailer. While I recapped the story about the deal and a half I scored, Jimmy seemed way more excited about the tools than my wife was, but we came up with a solution that should fix that problem.
So I got a good deal.
Yeah.
At least someone thinks I've got a good deal.
I'll tell her if you want. Good deal. If you tell my wife next time I buy something. Deal.
Deal.
Being a Facebook Market special, it came with a few quirks. No surprises there. But after a few quick fixes, it was ready to go. And let's just say, it sure beats this. Now that this is all set up, we can start using it. So the first thing I want to do is clean this diff plate. And as you can see, it's pretty bad. It's got a lot of muck and grime and dirt and all sorts of stuff bed into the alloy. And we want to bring it up shiny. Sandblasting is perfect for surface preparation. High-speed abrasive particles strip away any grime, rust, and paint with ease. For this alloy cover, it's the ideal way to clean it and restore it without causing any damage. Let's see how it looks. It's amazing how a little bit of sandblasting can completely transform a part. Here's the before and after. What a difference.
I just wanted to clarify something a little bit better. I don't know if I explained it very well while we were pulling the diff down, but here's the spider gear set again. Although this is really coming to be the failure point in diffs, not only the Supra diffs, but a lot of diffs, what I was really worried about was when we pulled that drain plug out, which is magnetic, you could see that there was not only a lot of teeth on that drain plug, but after I pulled it out, there was teeth that just continued falling out into the oil drainer. All it takes is for this crown wheel and one of its gears to pick up those teeth that are stray and then crunch it between this and it's game over. So that was the real worry, because if this was bad or this was bad or both were bad, we weren't gonna find another one of these in a hurry. And if we could find one, mate, someone would want a pretty penny. Isn't that right, Dave?
Very true.
Oh, by the way, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'll be helping out with the filming today.
Okay, and Dave, can you tell the viewers why you're helping out with the filming?
Well, unfortunately today, Jimmy had to be at a festival.
At a festival? Now, I specifically remember last video, he was telling the viewers how he's the one that carries the workshop on his shoulders.
And I'm Jimmy and I actually hold the workshop down next door.
Well, I'm here and he isn't, so.
Oh, hear that, Jimmy?
Gangster. Oh shit.
Let's just get on to removing these diff bushes with the press. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Hey, we're gonna try one of those jump cuts.
Yep.
I've seen people do this and I don't know how to edit it, but I'm gonna try and do it. So what do you reckon? I just jump, Dave?
I don't know. I'm guessing so. Give it a jump and see what happens.
All right, let's go. All right. I don't know how this is going to work out, but...
We have some breaking news. There is a tsunami warning.
8:21 here on the air. We're experiencing very strong shaking.
Wow. A 3.6 magnitude earthquake has shaken Western Sydney.
With inundation onto the land.
Fat bastard.
I think we need to get under the desk.
All right, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back after this. Wow.
All right, so we've got the diff set up on the press. As I was saying before, I'm going to press that section in the centre out. That'll come out really easy. And then we're going to cut and air chisel the rest out. Let's do it. And solid bushes are going to make such a difference, right? Look how easy that just pressed out. There we go, as easy as that. That centre section come out. And we're ready for the next bit. I might even just put the air chisel on that like straight up and see if we can move it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good old car, she ain't going to break. That'll work. I'm going to give this bit of a... Let's stop this. Hang on. There we go. Stopped it the old-fashioned way, like the Flintstones. I'm gonna hit it with the air chisel and see what happens. I don't think we're gonna get this lucky. What do you reckon, Dave?
Only one way to find out.
Yeah. You can see here how that sleeve is starting to cave itself in. I'll just work my way around. It's caved in that whole bush with a few small hits. That's nearly ready to come out already. You ready?
Yep.
It's coming. Might work it a bit down here. Oh, sorry, Dave.
Oh, no stress, that's it.
Nearly gave you a new piercing.
We were making great progress, but behind the scenes, I couldn't shake the growing panic. There was one part I needed desperately, and it seemed completely obsolete. Then, out of nowhere, something totally unexpected happened.
All right, so here we are. The diff is ready to go back together. We've got our housing that's been all nicely painted, the casing that's been all sandblasted. We've cleaned the pinion, the crown wheel and the pinion, and everything else. Over here, that's the new centre that we're putting in. This one here is a 1.5 way, which can also be adjusted to run as a 2-way, but I'll explain more in the next video. But I do have one problem, and that one problem is that I couldn't actually get shims for this diff. So I rang my diff guy in Geelong, and he explained to me that he could actually make me some shims, so I thought that's pretty cool. And then I explained to him exactly what I was doing, and he said, well, I'd be happy if you came down and I'll help you build the diff and you can film it if you like. And I thought, that's an offer too good to refuse. So in the next video, that's exactly what we're gonna do. You're gonna be seeing him build the diff and me filming and maybe helping, I don't know. But look, a guy like that who's got decades and decades of experience knows way better than I do how to put a diff together, how to finally tune it, and how to make it run good. And you know what? When you have friends like that that offer to help, you should probably take that help. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So thanks for watching. And I don't usually say this, but a few people have said I should. Please like and subscribe if you liked what you were watching, as humbly as I can ask. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.